Above $20, OpenRouter takes 5.5% on top of what the model already costs. OmniRoute is free and open source, and you pay only the providers you actually use. That cut is not a scam. Somebody has to keep a hosted router running. But it is a cut of every dollar you will ever spend, and it is worth knowing exactly when it gets taken. Your money goes in first. You buy prepaid credits denominated in US dollars, and each request draws them down. The fee is not on the inference at all. It is taken at the moment you buy the credits. So the fee is already spent before a model has seen a single token of yours. And the window to ask for an unused balance back closes 24 hours after the transaction. The platform fee itself is never refunded. One line stands the whole thing up, a detached Docker run with the container named and the port mapped. The quick start promises 3 minutes from that command to a working gateway, and my own run landed about there. The image pull was the slow part. What comes up is both halves at once, the API and the dashboard, together, on port 20128. At the time of recording, OmniRoute advertises about 1.53 billion free tokens a month, pooled across every free tier it can reach. In front of all of it sits a single base URL, and every AI IDE or CLI you own is pointed at that one address. That total is re-audited every 2 weeks, and it can go down as easily as up. OpenRouter has free models of its own, and its own documentation calls them generally unsuitable for production. A model tagged with the free suffix is always free, and always rate limited. And how hard it is rate limited depends on how many credits the account has bought, which makes the free tier a sample of the paid one. The more you spend, the more free you are allowed. Restrict the model list for your team, and the model list endpoint still hands the client every model there is. Model-specific parameters get stripped on the way through, which quietly degrades features like GPT Image 2 image generation. One user's summary is blunt. With routing already self-hosted, the only thing OpenRouter still provides them is consolidated billing. Consolidated billing is worth something. It is just not obvious that it is worth a percentage of everything. The free pools are real, but they are nothing like the same size. Cerebrus is listed at 1 million tokens a day. Longcat, on the same table, is listed at 50 million a day, from a provider most people have never configured. And NVIDIA does not count tokens at all. 40 requests a minute, whatever those requests contain. Bring your own key, and OpenRouter uses your provider keys, so the provider bills you directly. Past the free allowance, those requests were charged at 5%. That 2025 request count pricing has since been superseded, and the announcement itself now carries an August 2026 update notice. The number you budgeted against is not a constant. It is a page somebody edits. You do not need Docker for any of this. A global PNPM install of the latest release with the native builds allowed through. Then the setup command in non-interactive mode walks the whole configuration without asking you a thing. And the provider test command fires at every provider you have connected, all of them at once. You find out which keys are dead before a coding session finds out for you. Providers connect by an OAuth handshake, by pasting an API key, or by toggling on a free no-auth pool with no key at all. One hands-on review counted 99 models on a fresh install before a single provider had been configured. Several no-auth pools ship switched on, and that is where most of that list is coming from. 36 of the default entries are auto-routing aliases rather than real models, so the number flatters itself a little. So what a fresh install shows you is mostly generosity you never had to arrange. And generosity has terms. The free pools are not equals. Mistral is the largest of them, at roughly 1 billion tokens a month. That same pool is throttled to 2 requests a minute, so the biggest number on the page is also one of the slowest. And when a reviewer probed the no-auth pools, only 2 of 7 answered at all. The rest returned errors. A fallback chain is not a switch you flip when something breaks. It is a ladder. The request starts at the top, and every rung it fails on drops it to the next one with nobody watching. OmniRoute calls that ladder a combo, an ordered chain it slides down when a quota runs out, a provider fails, or the cost spikes. And if you would rather not build one, set the model to auto, and it assembles a virtual combo out of whatever you have connected. Which means the laziest configuration available to you is still a ladder. The auto engine scores every candidate on 12 factors before it commits to one. The dashboard puts average failover at 8 milliseconds, which is the whole point. You are not supposed to notice the ladder at all. For Claude Code, the entire connection is one command, the Claude setup subcommand. It has to go through environment variables because Claude Code has no base URL flag to point somewhere else. The command writes both of them, the base URL and the auth token, and the tool comes up talking to your machine. Claude Code assumes a 200,000 token context window for any model ID it does not recognize. And because it sends model IDs with no prefix, connecting both the Claude Code and the Claude providers makes a bare ID ambiguous, and OmniRoute refuses to guess. Model discovery inside the model picker needs Claude Code v2.1.219 or newer. Refusing to guess is the right call, and it will still look exactly like a bug the first time it happens to you. Some editors cannot send an authorization header at all, so they get a tokenized base URL with the key sitting in the path instead. A key in a URL is a key in every log that URL passes through, so keep that particular arrangement on your own machine. For everything else, one setup command per tool writes that tool's own config file, straight from the live model catalog. The setup family covers the coding CLIs by name: Codex, Claude Code, OpenCode, CLI. Two launchers do it the other way round. They spawn the CLI with the environment already injected and write no config at all. One leaves something on your disk and the other leaves nothing, so pick by how much you want to be able to undo. You update it with a global npm install of the latest release, optional dependencies included. Its own updater always pulls the optional dependencies in, so the native pieces survive instead of quietly disappearing. The port defaults to 20128, and if something already owns it, a port option moves the gateway somewhere else. Compression here is not one trick. The README describes a stack of 12 composable engines. Stacked together, they are quoted at 78.4 to 94.6% savings. Code blocks, URLs, JSON, and anything else structured are exempted and pass through untouched. Which is the part that matters. The compressor is only ever let near the pros, where losing a word is survivable. The key you create in the dashboard is shown exactly once. Copy it then, or make yourself another. And it authenticates your tools to OmniRoute, not to the providers behind it. The provider credentials are a separate thing entirely. The monitoring and logs section then shows the full detail of every request that passed through the gateway. If you never set the initial password variable, the dashboard admin password falls back to the literal string CHANGEME. In its defense, the management endpoints do reject unauthenticated callers with an unauthorized response. But a published default is not a lock. It is a lock with the key taped to it, and it only takes one careless port forward. Set it before the container ever touches a network you do not own. Somebody filed an issue on the project's own tracker titled Security Concerns for Local Deployment. That issue is closed, and reading the thread yourself beats taking my word for it, or theirs. OmniRoute can spoof the JA3 and JA4 TLS fingerprints, so its traffic looks like the genuine CLI. It is not alone in that. CLI Proxy API, the Go project OmniRoute was ported from, ships the same TLS stealth. The point of the feature is that the provider on the other end cannot easily tell your gateway from the tool it is imitating. That is either exactly the feature you came for, or a line you would rather not cross, and nobody gets to decide it for you. The dashboard's Claude onboarding block renders a placeholder where the API key would sit, so a screenshot cannot leak it. And the Claude Code profiles it generates never contain the auth token at all. Small decisions both, and they are the kind that tell you whether anybody was thinking about the failure modes. One port carries the OpenAI surface at a path of its own, the Anthropic surface at the root, and a native Gemini surface at a path of its own. Every setup command except the cursor one can show you its writes before it makes them. and OpenCode gets a deeper integration through the OmniRoute OpenCode plugin package. Its own comparison table puts that provider count against roughly 100 for Light LLM, 50 for OpenRouter, and 30 for Portkey. Of that list, OmniRoute and Light LLM are the self-hostable ones. OpenRouter is not, and Portkey only on a paid plan. That is what the work buys you: a longer list and a router running on hardware you can walk over and unplug. None of that is free, though. It is just billed in a different currency. You pay in evenings, the update that breaks a native dependency, the key that expired without telling you, the box you now have to keep alive. Under the October 2025 policy, every customer got 1 million free BYOK requests a month. That is gone. The free allowance now depends on your plan, and it is measured in list price inference cost rather than in requests. A request count is something you can count ahead of time. A cost allowance moves whenever the list price of a model moves. The fee you are trying to escape is not a fixed target, and that is the real argument for owning the router. The document those numbers come from is OmniRoute's own, and it credits OmniRoute 3.8 with more than 237 providers. The repos behind it were audited in the second quarter of 2026, and the page was last updated in June 2026. So treat every count on it as a claim made by an interested party, not as a measurement somebody neutral went and took. The same document tells you to stay on OpenRouter if you will not self-host and you are willing to pay the SaaS markup. It points Python-first teams at Light LLM for its native Python call and the mature Kubernetes and Helm recipes. And if what you need is a commercial SLA with uptime guarantees, it sends you to Portkey. A comparison table that tells you when to buy the competition is doing something the marketing around it usually will not. None of this resolves into a recommendation, because the deciding number is one only you can see. It is your spend, your tolerance for maintenance, and the honest rate you would put on your own evenings. Start with the small print. On credit purchases under $20, OpenRouter adds a flat fee of $0.8. So open your credit history tonight. OpenRouter is the hosted router most people are weighing this against, and add the platform fee up across the year. If that total surprises you, start the container and point one tool at it. That is the whole experiment, and you can run it before dinner.